Hey there, welcome to my channel. Let's continue with our series. In the last episode, we have covered basic functionality of the shopping module. Now our foods are available as per location and now it's prepared to add to cart. In this section, we will work on the customer module. And there are pretty much good amount of time we need to spend with this module. But as I said earlier, we will cover the all modules basic first in the monolithic way. So you can have a rough idea about the application flow, and then we will move to the pure professional section in the microservices way to accomplish the final result. Here today in this section, we will work on the create customer account and verify their account with the OTP mechanism, and then log into their profile to move forward with the add to cart. We will do a bit of a code refactor to work on the basic validation. At least you can see how application will behave if we did not provide the mandatory inputs. Great. So let's get into code. Alright, so here this is the shopping controller. We are going to close this one and we will be jumping to the Express app here. Here as you can see we have two specific prefix. It is called admin and vendor. Alright, so here we will be going to add one more route and that will handle our customer section. So f.use, we can keep it as customer or as user, that's up to you, but in my case I'm going to use as user. Go to the routes here. We need to create one route here. Now it is not complaining. All the user routes will go to the customer route here. Here we will add a couple of things that is going to be like our and for that we'll have and for that we'll have So after that maybe we will add our cart section and order section, and maybe we will add payment section. Good. So these are the things we will just we will finish it off right after finish those all above. Good. So here and this one will be definitely a kind of post method, and also like and this will be our text method, so that's right. And here this will be like a kind of this will be kind of method, so that's and also will be kind of post will be kind of like any kind of text. Because first of all we will get the profile information, and after that we need to have we need to edit this section, so the patch is gonna work with it that way. So for a while everything is good, and these are the two routes will be totally public route. That means there is no authentication will be required. So here a little bit we need to do a little bit authentication. So these are the routes are not totally public, and so in order to access those routes we need to have authentication first. Good. So what we will do now, now we will create a controller just like shopping controller we have created earlier. Here I'm going to keep as that's not the user will be not kind of meaningful. I mean whatever your route you can keep, that's perfectly fine, but I'm going to change it to customer. That it will be more naming conventional wise. It will be great. Customer. Good. Customer. Then customer controller we will be going to like use customer sign up. Alright, so let's create the other functions also here. And then so all the supporting methods are ready. So we need to hook up these things with our customer route here. But before that, we need to export this this customer controller over here in this index file, I guess, right? Good. All the routes are now hooked up with our controller. That's good. So let's start with the sign up function first. This time we will introduce a couple of things like in order to validate this stuff. Earlier what we are doing, like we are creating a DTO file in terms of like, let's say for vendor, right? So here we are just creating our inputs and all those information we are putting right here. But whenever it is going something wrong, then for validation purpose we need to check everything like manually in terms of like name is empty, or what is the minimum character or maximum character it will be required, something like that. So for that reason we need to do some extra code. But this time what we will do little bit in different way. Let's create the customer DTO file here, new. Before adding the code here to the customer DTO, we will install a couple of modules. Alright, so these are the two libraries we have added. Alright, so let's create the customer input here. Export. This time we will use class instead of the interface class. It is saying some error. Alright, so it seems like initialization error. That is we will take care. Okay, but before that we need to use something like which is we have installed recently. So here we will check whether is it email or not. Is email. This is a kind of TypeScript features. This is called decorators. We will discuss about the TypeScript features in the upcoming episodes. For a while, let's go with this. Let's go to the TS config file. So we need to take care of this warning first. Definitely it will be here. Strict property initialization. Yeah, right. This is gonna be like false. Good. Come on, false. And we will be use experimental decorators here. Just keep it true. Right. So now see, it's all gone. Good. So now we will import these things. We will utilize these things in our customer controller here. So earlier what we did, we have casted our request body to a specific DTO to get the specific the parameters, and we are utilizing all those parameters to create our model. So in this case also we'll do something similar, but we will not use this interface anymore. Okay, so instead of that we will use something else, that is we have installed. This is the library class transformer. It will help us to convert the plain stuff to the specific class. Plain to class. Now plain to class. First of all we need to provide the class name. That will be our create customer inputs, and second parameters we need to provide our request dot body. Right. Now we need to validate the errors. Again we need to import one more thing, that will be our import from class validator. So here we need to use validate. We need to provide our customer inputs here, and second parameter we will provide a little bit in terms of like validation option here. That validation option will be. Now we will check if input error has some value, length, input errors. No, okay, here we need to use the await. It is returning a promise over here, right? So that's good. Length is greater than 0, then simply return status will be 400, and JSON we will simply pass the input errors. So this error we will take care later on. We will create a kind of different extra abstraction layer. This we will take care later on. But for a while, just go with the flow. Like we will send it this 400, and we will simply send these error messages. Okay. And so if there is no any error, or error is a kind of like in a falsy value, right? Then we will deconstruct this stuff. So now we need to create a customer model. So that is we will put over here in the customer model. We will copy something from here, and So here, and so these are the stuff it will go with the customer doc. So here, just to put these things over here. Password salt created at, yeah, that's perfectly fine. So instead of this vendor, we will use the customer, and this is gonna be like our customer schema, and it will be customer. Good. So it's ready, right? Good. Now go to the customer controller over here. The way we have created the vendors from the admin controller, the same way we will create the customer also, because customer also will have user ID, password, and here additional stuff will be required. That is going to be like OTP stuff. That is we will add. But let's take care of the salt and the user password and all those things first. That is we have already created right there, right here in the password utility, and password will be our password, which is we have received it from the customer input. Password we will pass it over here, and salt, whatever salt we have generated right here, we will pass it here. Result will definitely, it's a kind of like create customer result. Okay, here it is, we are providing as a OTP expiration number. So that is not going to be like number, that is going to be like date. It's good. Now it will not complain. Yeah, it's not complaining at all. That latitude and longitude will be required to in order to work with the navigation. We have now our customer model over here. So let's see if our result is success. So these are the three things we need to do over here. So let's do these things one by one. Okay. First of all, we need to generate one OTP and expiry. All right. So every time the OTP has to be like unique. It should have to be like in a 6-digit every time. Okay. So that is we will take care of. Something like we have created just for password utility over here. The same way we will create something for this kind of communication in terms of like sending password, sending notification, sending email. That kind of utility we will take care from some different way. Like we will create a different file that's gonna be like our notification. So we will be getting the generated OTP over here. Let's add these things over here. But this notification utility we need to export in index file. Not OTP in terms of like we will reconstruct the stuff over here. OTP and expiry. Here we will provide expiry. That's good. So let's check it out, like we are getting the OTP or not. We perfectly able to generate the OTP over here, OTP numbers. Good. So now I'm going to code these things that is not required. Now our generate OTP is done. So we need to integrate our OTP model to sending the OTP to customers. So that is we need to do here. So for that thing also we will go to the notification utility over here, and we will create one function that is going to be like export. So in this function we will take care like it will take input as OTP. That is going to be like a number which is we will generate from here, and 2 will be kind of like phone number which is we will provide from the create account, right? That is we need to send over here. Right, so sending OTP we will use Twilio. That is we have discussed in the very beginning of the tutorial, right? So let's go to understand like how Twilio is working. So this is the Twilio's website. If you don't have any account, then you just create an account over here. Confirm your identity using your first name, last name, email ID, and password, and all those things. And Twilio, I do have my account. So first of all, we need to install the Twilio library. So let's do these things. I'm going to stop my server. Right. So it is installed perfectly. Here, the couple of things will be required. First of all, account SID. So our Twilio client is ready. Now we need to send the OTP, right? Good. So let's understand what are the things are required. Like account SID and auth token. That is you can get it from your Twilio account. So this is my SID, account SID. I'm going to copy these things over here and just paste it here. Account SID, single quote. And account token will be like this is the account token. Okay, so now just copy these things over here, paste it here. From contact number will be this one. So you need to buy a number or you need to get a number from here. You can request a phone number from here for sending phone number, right? Copy this phone number we will use here. Good. Now our response also ready. So once we have sent successfully this message, just return this response. Good. So this OTP request we will utilize over here in the customer controller, right? Here. Send the OTP request also done. We will sending the OTP from here, and now we need to generate the signature. Const. The same way we have created for our vendor, right? Generate signature. In the generate signature also we need to have some kind of the payload. Like whenever we have created our payload for our vendor controller over here, generate signature is a kind of payload which is gonna be like the vendor payload, right? So same payload we cannot use. So we need to create something for our user, right? Right. So password and generate signature. Okay. This is not gonna be like vendor payload anymore. We will use the auth payload because auth payload is using the vendor payload. So here one more payload we will be used. That will be our this customer payload will come over here. Good. So let's go to the customer DTO. Just right after this create customer inputs, we will create these things. So these are the stuff is required. Right. So now it's auth payload. It will be a kind of like vendor payload, or it may become of like customer payload also. It doesn't matter. It's always going to be like a generic. That's perfectly fine. Right. So what we will do now go to the customer controller. Now just to provide the stuff here. So finally we are just sending all those things, right? So this is the time to give it a try. Now what we will do, user password, we are not using user password. Okay, user password need to send over here rather than sending this password. It's a kind of typo. We will send the user password, and salt will be this salt. That's perfectly fine. And if the result is not going through, then we will simply send some kind of error over here. Let's give a try from the postman over here. Good. So sign up. I am going to use my contact number over here. Before that, I used to tweak something like this notification utility, sending the phone number. All right. So here the phone number we will accept without country code. That is we need to tweak over here. So right now I am using my Indian contact number. So that will be over here my country code first I'm going to use. So apart from your country, then you can use your country code. So that phone number we will pass over here. Phone number. Then only it can reach to your phone. All right. Otherwise, the OTP will not deliver that response. Okay, this is not a message. It's called messages. All right. It's a kind of little typo. Good. I'm going to call once more time. Right here, send these things. Send. Yeah, that's perfect. Now we are able to create the stuff, and as you can see in my screen, I have received the OTP also. That's perfectly fine. That's good. Finally, we have created our customer and we have sent the OTP also. That is, as you can see, I have received in my mobile. Right before create the customer, we will check whether if any customer is exist with the provided email ID. If it is exist with the provided email ID, we will simply returning some error. So that is we need to take care here. So let's have a try from here. I'm going to send these things, and user exists with the provided email ID. If I'm going to send something else, let's say test one, and same email ID password, or now we are going to send. Yes, it is sending. Wow, that's good. So it is created. Yeah, that's good. So we have covered our customer sign up. Now secondly, we will cover our customer verification. So let's see how to verify our customer. So customer verify, let's go to the customer route here. Here, as you can see, customer verification, the customer verify route will be required authentication, because to verify a customer, we need the customer information first. Authentication middleware will gonna be help us to get the specific user. Let's add the authentication middleware here. So as you can see here, there is not much in terms of changes, right? Because user will be always gonna be like an auth payload, and auth payload, it can be like vendor payload or customer payload. As I explained earlier on the time of generate the signature, auth payload is a kind of type which may vendor payload or maybe customer payload. So nothing has to be changed right here. Everything seems to be fine. So let's move forward with this. Right, so now go to the customer controller to add some code on the customer verify function. Here we are using only one parameter from the body, so you can use the DTO, but I think without DTO also it's gonna work perfectly fine. Alright, so now let's pets of the current user. We need to check whether the OTP is getting verified right after within the specified time, or is it expired. That is we need to check here also. So for that thing we will check profile dot OTP expiry equal new because anyway the OTP expires is a kind of date. So let's check. You can add some additional method also to compare this dates. So I'm just putting simply like this way, and if it is true in terms of profile OTP is equal to the provided OTP, and profile expiry date is less than equal to the current time, right? Then we are just validating then we are just setting the verified equal to true. Because signature will have the updated property that is going to be like verified is true, that is we will send it here. So we can send directly true, but we are not prefer to send directly the verified equal to true. We will use this updated customer response. So once you get verified properly the OTP and the OTP expiry here, then we will generate the signature and we will send it back to the user. Okay. If it is not going through, and then again the same thing, we are just sending an error here in the bottom of this function. Here error with OTP validation. That's good. Alright, so let's try this verification route also. Here we're going to copy these things from here, this signature, and alright, so we are getting error in OTP validation. So where it is going wrong? We are looking for less than equal to the expiry date, so that is wrong. So we need to look into like greater than or equal to current date and time, then only it is valid OTP. Okay, good. So let's have a try once more here. Yeah, that's good. So as you can see, now it is verified equal to true. So now let's move to the customer login. So login also we need to do a little bit work here. First, here this parameter we will put something that is gonna be like our user login inputs. Okay, that is we have not created at all, so we need to go to create to the customer DTO file here. So let's add these things here. So user login input. Okay, we are going to customer DTO here. Okay, here in the customer DTO file we'll be using similar something like this class. Okay, so let's copy these things here, and here we will change the name. That will be our user login inputs. Email will be there and password will be there. That's good. Now let's go here. Yeah, it's perfectly fine now. Good. So we will check for errors. If it has error, then so yeah, this is correct, right? Entered password will be our user password, which is providing from the request, and secondly our saved password, which is we are using from customer, and salt also we are using from customer, which is we are finding from the database. Good. Now if validation will be true, Later on, we will use some kind of error mechanism, that is, I have already explained. We will use some different abstraction layer to handle all the errors. So profile 404. Let's say we are providing 404. No. Error, it's login error. Login error. We can use some precise error also if validation got failed here, right? Else suppose, let's say password does not match. Here also we can send it. So for a while, but these are the stuff we will cover later on. Okay, there are a lot more advanced things we will introduce. So in that case, we will handle it. That's good. So now let's have a try, and the login is working or not. So customer route, the login, yeah, that's good. So let's go to here in the Postman. Yeah, that's good. So now we are successfully able to log in, right? And now let's go to the request.api section here. Here, these are the routes exactly just required authentication. So for request.api also we need the authentication, which is already we have used right here. Okay. Here, first of all, we need to grab our user. That is going to be like customer. If we pound the user profile, then we will generate OTP here. Generate OTP, and generate OTP will have two parameters, that is will be our OTP and expiry. Now second thing, we need to update our profile where we will store our new OTP and profile. OTP expiry will be a new OTP expiry, that is going to be like our expiry. And finally we will be save our updated profile here. Save. Now we need to send the updated new OTP to customer, to their contact number. That is we will do here on request OTP. OTP will be our new OTP, and phone number will our profile dot phone. Once the SMS has sent, then we will be return. Or if something is going wrong, then by default we are just sending this message. So let's have a try. First of all, we will create a new account, then we will try once more. So at this time we will be use some kind of different email ID, test3, and okay, same contact number, that's fine. Sign up. So that's good. So I have sent. Yes, I have received OTP also. I will request a new OTP. That will be, I need to copy this signature here. So it is saying OTP sent to registered mobile number. Yeah, I have received my OTP also. That's good. So this functionality also working perfectly fine. So first of all, we will take care of the customer profile, edit customer profile. Let's grab our login user here. Here's something we will put, that will be our this will be our edit customer profile input. So let's go to the customer controller here. and we will put the sign you'll see if you have if you have then 0 then enable the sign this number is like others. He has and see here are well personally here we use and person and person and person and that's your S. And I will so you this is this okay, sorry, I put these things here. This method will be not here. We will put here. Okay. So get customer profile also will be similar. Something like we will always just looking for this. Let's copy these things here. Copy here. Paste it here also. These inputs are not required, so we'll be simply looking into the customer. If density right, so we have covered the customer profile also. Let's have a try from Postman here. Customer profile, it will be a get function. This time send a request. Yeah, that's good. So we are getting our all information. That's good. Send it. Yeah, that's good. Now we are getting updated stuff. As you can see, my first name is also updated and last name also updated, address also updated, and but verified is false because this is newly created ID. And so all these cases are covered. So here something is not happening correct. Somewhere we are getting some issues. That is, we need to check. Okay, this one we need to return here. Alright, that's all for today. In the coming episode, we will work on the add to cart and the order section, where we will implement a lot of pro level stuff to make it more mature. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, subscribe it to get more updates. Thank you. See you in the next episode.